Welcome back, Young and the Restless fans. In today's episode of Genoa City, the emotional pressure has reached a dangerous level. It feels like something big is about to break at any moment, and nobody is truly safe from what's coming next. Right now, everything is building around one major storyline involving NIKKI Newman. For days, maybe even weeks, NIKKI has been carrying something heavy inside her heart. It's not just stress, it's guilt, fear, and responsibility all mixed together. And the longer she keeps it inside, the more it starts to affect her decisions, her emotions, and even the people around her. NIKKI has always been strong in her own way. She knows how to control a room, how to stay composed when things get messy, and how to protect her family when danger shows up. But this time, it's different. This situation is not something she can simply push aside or ignore anymore. Something has been happening in the background involving Nick Newman and his struggle with painkiller addiction. The situation is getting more serious, and it is becoming harder to hide the truth from the people who care about him. NIKKI has been watching her son struggle, and it's breaking her emotionally. As a mother, she wants to fix everything immediately. She wants to protect Nick, guide him, and make sure he doesn't spiral further into danger. But at the same time, she understands that some problems cannot be solved alone. And that is exactly what pushes her to make a difficult decision. In a very emotional turn of events, NIKKI decides she cannot carry this burden by herself anymore. She reaches out and makes a shocking confession to Jack Abbott. Now, this is not just a casual conversation. This is not a simple update. This is a deeply personal revelation that could change relationships and alliances in Genoa City. Jack Abbott is completely taken aback when NIKKI opens up to him. He is not expecting this level of honesty, and the weight of her words immediately hits him. Jack has seen a lot in his life: betrayals, secrets, power struggles, but this moment feels different. NIKKI's confession carries emotional depth. She is not just asking for advice. She is essentially trusting Jack with something very sensitive about her family, especially Nick's condition and the dangerous path he may be heading down. Jack, being who he is, listens carefully. He understands the seriousness of the situation. He knows addiction is not something that can be ignored or handled quietly forever. There are consequences, and there are risks involved if it is not addressed properly. But here is where things get even more complicated. Jack's involvement in this situation could create major tension with Victor Newman. Victor has always been protective and controlling when it comes to his family. If he finds out that Jack is now involved in Nick's personal struggles, especially in a supportive or intervention type role, it could ignite a serious conflict between them. Victor does not like outsiders stepping into Newman family business. And Jack Abbott is definitely not someone he fully trusts when it comes to Newman affairs. So now, NIKKI's confession doesn't just create emotional tension, it creates potential power conflict. Meanwhile, Jack is left in a difficult position. He wants to help. He cares about NIKKI and Nick in his own way. But he also knows that stepping into this situation could drag him into a war with Victor Newman all over again. And in Genoa City, wars between Victor and Jack never stay small. They always escalate. They always explode. As this emotional moment closes, one thing becomes very clear: NIKKI's confession is only the beginning of a much bigger storm. What she has revealed is going to ripple through every major family in town, and nothing will stay the same after this. The question now is simple. Will Jack help NIKKI protect Nick, or will this confession trigger a new war with Victor Newman? Stay tuned, because Genoa City is only getting more dangerous from here. The drama in Genoa City is far from over. In fact, while emotions are exploding on one side of town, another storyline is building intense pressure of its own centered around Kane Ashby. Right now, Kane is standing at a very dangerous crossroads in his life. He's not just dealing with personal emotions anymore, he's dealing with legal restrictions, medical urgency, and a decision that could completely change his future. As viewers already know, Kane is currently out on bail, but he's also under strict conditions from the court. One of the biggest restrictions? He is considered a flight risk, meaning the judge is watching his every move very carefully. The situation becomes even more complicated because of Malcolm Winters. Malcolm's medical condition has created a high-stakes emotional emergency. There is a transplant-related storyline unfolding, and Kane's involvement is deeply personal. He wants to help. He feels responsible. And more importantly, he believes he is one of the only people who can step in when it matters most. But the problem is simple: helping may break the law. The judge has already made it clear that Kane is not allowed to leave Genoa City. Even though the medical situation is urgent, travel restrictions are in place. Kane is allowed to contribute to the procedure locally, but anything beyond that is strictly prohibited. Still, Kane is not someone who easily accepts limitations, especially when it comes to family and emotional responsibility. And that's where things take a dangerous turn. Kane starts considering a major decision, something bold, something risky, something that could completely destroy his legal standing if it goes wrong. He begins to think about ignoring the judge's orders. Yes, that's right, Kane is seriously considering going big or going home. His plan is not fully revealed yet, but the idea is clear: if anything goes wrong with Malcolm's situation, Kane is prepared to take drastic action, even if it means breaking court rules and leaving Genoa City anyway. This creates immediate tension with Lily Winters. Lily is emotionally connected to Kane, and she can sense that he is spiraling into a risky mindset. She understands his motivation: he wants to help, he wants to fix things, he wants to do the right thing, but she also knows that Kane's decisions often come with consequences that are not easy to undo. Their relationship enters a complicated emotional space. There is love, concern, and unresolved tension all mixed together. At times, it even feels like they are one step away from reconnecting romantically, but at the same time, one wrong move could destroy everything between them. There are also hints of deeper emotional moments between Kane and Lily. Some viewers may even wonder if this situation could bring them closer again, or if the pressure will push them further apart forever. But the biggest question remains: what exactly is Kane willing to risk? Because if Kane goes through with this plan, it could not only affect his legal situation, but also his future with Lily, and possibly even his place in Genoa City entirely. Meanwhile, the emotional weight of Malcolm's condition continues to hang over everything. Kane feels responsible, but responsibility in Genoa City always comes with consequences. And in the shadows of this storyline, another danger is building, one that Kane may not fully see yet. Every decision he makes from this point forward could either save a life, or destroy his own. As this part of the story closes, Kane is standing on the edge of a very serious choice. Will he obey the law and stay in control? Or will he take a massive risk that could change everything forever? Stay tuned, because in Genoa City, even the best intentions can lead to the worst consequences. As the chaos continues in Genoa City, another unexpected storyline begins to unfold, one that is less about power or legal trouble, and more about obsession, emotion, and desperation. This time, the spotlight falls on Patty Williams. Now, Patty has always been a complicated figure in Genoa City. Her emotions often run deep, and when she sets her mind on something or someone, she doesn't easily let go. And right now, that someone is none other than Jack Abbott. But instead of going directly to Jack, Patty takes a very unusual route. She turns her attention toward Billy Abbott. At first, this move doesn't seem to make much sense. Why would Patty try to convince Billy about anything involving Jack? On the surface, it feels indirect, almost confusing. But in Patty's mind, there is a very clear plan forming. She believes that if she can influence Billy, she might somehow shift the situation in her favor when it comes to Jack. And that's where things start getting intense. Patty makes a desperate emotional attempt to convince Billy that she is the right woman for Jack Abbott. She presents her case not just with words, but with emotion, vulnerability, and urgency. This isn't a casual conversation, it's a plea. Patty is not acting calmly or strategically here. She is acting from a place of emotional desperation. She truly believes that she and Jack have a connection worth fighting for, and she is willing to say or do almost anything to prove it. Billy, however, is not easily influenced. Billy Abbott has seen enough drama in his life to recognize when a situation is becoming unhealthy or one-sided. As Patty tries to explain her feelings and her desire for Jack, Billy becomes increasingly uncomfortable with the direction of the conversation. He starts to realize that Patty's attachment may not just be romantic, it may be something deeper, more intense, and possibly even obsessive. And that raises concerns. Because in Genoa City, when emotions start to blur reality, things can quickly spiral out of control. Patty's behavior creates a tense atmosphere. She is emotionally invested, but Billy is not the person who can give her the validation she is looking for. Still, she continues to push forward, hoping that if she can just make Billy understand her perspective, she might somehow get closer to Jack. But that's not how relationships work in this world. Jack Abbott's choices are his own, and no amount of persuasion through Billy is going to change that reality. As this interaction unfolds, Billy finds himself stuck in an uncomfortable position. He doesn't want to hurt Patty, but he also cannot support the direction she is heading in. There is a clear emotional imbalance in the situation, and Billy can sense it. Meanwhile, Patty's determination only grows stronger. Instead of stepping back, she becomes even more convinced that she needs to prove herself worthy of Jack. In her mind, this is not just a simple crush or misunderstanding, it is something she believes is meant to be. But in Genoa City, belief alone is never enough. Reality always pushes back. And the reality here is simple: Jack Abbott is not part of this conversation, and Billy cannot make decisions for him. Still, Patty continues to push her case, refusing to let go of the idea that she and Jack belong together. Her emotional intensity turns the situation into something unpredictable, and viewers can clearly sense that this storyline could escalate at any moment. As the scene comes to a close, Billy is left with a growing concern about Patty's mindset, while Patty is left even more determined than before. And that creates a dangerous emotional imbalance. Because in Genoa City, when someone refuses to accept reality, things rarely end peacefully. The question now becomes: will Patty's obsession push her further into dangerous territory, or will someone step in before things go too far? Stay tuned, because this emotional spiral is far from over. As the emotional storms continue building across Genoa City, another powerful force begins to tighten its grip on the situation: Victor Newman. Whenever Victor gets involved, nothing stays simple for long. And right now, there are multiple moving pieces in play that could easily set him off. At the center of it all is Jack Abbott. Jack has already found himself pulled into a very sensitive emotional confession from NIKKI Newman. What started as a private conversation has now created ripple effects that could reach far beyond just family concern. Because in Victor's world, there is no such thing as just concern. There is control. There is territory. And there is loyalty. Victor Newman has always been extremely protective when it comes to his family, especially NIKKI and Nick. So if he discovers that Jack Abbott is getting involved in Nick Newman's personal struggles, particularly his battle with painkiller addiction, it will not be taken lightly. Victor does not see Jack as a neutral party. He sees him as a rival. A competitor. Someone who always ends up standing too close to Newman family matters for Victor's comfort. And that tension is now building again. Jack's involvement, even if it comes from a place of genuine concern, is enough to spark Victor's suspicion. In Victor's mind, every move Jack makes has a hidden agenda, whether that's true or not. This creates a dangerous atmosphere where even good intentions can be misinterpreted as manipulation. Meanwhile, NIKKI's emotional confession has already set things in motion. She trusted Jack with something very personal, and now that information is slowly becoming part of a much larger conflict. Victor is not aware of everything yet, but the moment he finds out, things could escalate quickly. Because Victor Newman does not hesitate when he feels his family is being threatened. And in Genoa City, perception often matters more than truth. On another level, this situation also places Jack in a difficult emotional position. He is trying to do what he believes is right. He understands addiction, he understands struggle, and he recognizes the seriousness of Nick's situation. But understanding doesn't protect him from Victor Newman's reaction. Every step Jack takes forward risks pulling him deeper into a conflict he may not fully want but cannot easily avoid. And this is where things become even more complicated. Because Victor's influence is not just emotional, it is strategic. He has power, connections, and the ability to shift situations in his favor when needed. If he decides that Jack is interfering too deeply, he could take action that changes everything overnight. Meanwhile, NIKKI is caught in the middle of this growing storm. She wanted help for her son. She trusted Jack. But she may not have fully anticipated how quickly things could escalate once Victor becomes involved. And that creates emotional pressure for everyone involved. Even Nick's situation becomes part of a larger power struggle instead of just a personal recovery journey. What should have been a private family issue is now slowly turning into a conflict between two powerful men in Genoa City, Victor Newman and Jack Abbott. And when those two collide, history has shown one thing clearly. No one walks away unaffected. As tensions rise, viewers can sense that something is building beneath the surface. Every conversation, every secret, every decision is adding fuel to a fire that could explode at any moment. Jack may believe he is simply helping a family member in crisis. Victor may see it as interference. And NIKKI may be realizing that her confession has opened a door she can no longer control. As this part of the story closes, one thing is certain. The calm in Genoa City is temporary. And Victor Newman is getting closer to finding out the truth. When he does, everything changes. Stay tuned, because the next move could trigger a full-scale confrontation. If you want, I can continue with part 5, final explosive wrap-up, Kane, Patty, NIKKI, Victor all collide summary ending. This is the final part of today's Genoa City breakdown, and everything we've seen so far is now starting to move toward a single point of pressure. Secrets are spreading. Emotions are rising. And every character is standing closer to a decision that could permanently change their future. At the heart of this final storm, we have multiple storylines now crashing into each other. NIKKI Newman's emotional confession to Jack Abbott has already triggered a chain reaction. What started as a private moment of vulnerability is now becoming something much bigger. Jack is no longer just an outsider listening, he is now emotionally involved in a situation that connects directly to the Newman family crisis. And the problem is, Victor Newman is getting closer to discovering it. Victor is not someone who reacts calmly to hidden alliances or private conversations involving his family. The moment he realizes Jack has been pulled into Nick's struggle, especially regarding his addiction, everything could escalate instantly. Because in Victor's world, involvement is never neutral. It is either loyalty or betrayal. Meanwhile, across Genoa City, Kane Ashby is standing on the edge of a life-changing decision. His situation with Lily Winters and Malcolm Winters is becoming more unstable by the hour. Kane's emotional drive to help is pushing him closer to breaking the rules he's been warned not to cross. But court restrictions are still in place. The legal danger is still real. But Kane's determination is growing stronger. He believes that if he doesn't act, something serious could go wrong. And that belief is pushing him toward a risky choice, one that could send his entire future into chaos. Lily is watching all of this unfold with deep concern. She understands Kane's intentions, but she also sees the danger in his actions. Their emotional connection is still there, but it's being tested in a way that could either bring them closer or break them apart completely. And then there is Patty Williams. Patty's emotional obsession with Jack Abbott has now reached another level. Her desperate attempt to convince Billy Abbott that she belongs with Jack shows just how far she is willing to go. But the problem is simple, Billy cannot give her what she wants. Instead of validation, Patty is only receiving hesitation and concern. And that lack of confirmation is making her more determined, not less. Her emotional state is becoming increasingly unstable, and in Genoa City, that is never a small detail. When emotions turn into obsession, situations often spiral in unexpected directions. So now we have 3 major pressure points building at the same time. NIKKI's confession pulling Jack deeper into Newman family conflict. Kane risking everything for a decision he believes is right. And Patty pushing herself further into emotional obsession. And in the background of all of this, Victor Newman is slowly tightening his awareness of what is happening around him. It's only a matter of time before everything overlaps. Because in Genoa City, storylines never stay separate for long. They collide. They explode. And they change everything. As we move toward the next chapter, the biggest question becomes: who will be the first to cross the line and who will pay the price? Will Victor confront Jack before things spiral further? Will Kane break the law to follow his heart? Or will Patty's obsession push her into a situation she cannot control? One thing is certain, nothing in Genoa City is safe anymore. And when all these paths finally meet, the fallout will be massive. Stay tuned, because the real storm is just beginning.